Today in math class, we're baking with fractions.
Action.
Okay, so today we're making best brownies. Okay, these are all our ingredients. But there's a problem. Our original recipe serves 16 people, and we only need to serve 8. We know that 8 is 1/2 of 16, so we're gonna multiply all our ingredient quantities by 1/2. Okay, so our first ingredient is butter. In the original recipe, we needed 1/2 cup of butter, but for the new recipe, we only need 1/2 of that. So we're gonna multiply times 1/2. We don't know how to multiply fractions, so what we're gonna do is draw a model to help us. Okay, so first I'm going to shade in 1/2 of my model. I can do that by shading, we'll shade the top row. So I shaded 1/2 of my model, and then I need 1/2 of that 1/2. So there's 2 pieces, and I'm just gonna shade in one of them. The total fraction that I have double shaded is 1 out of 4. So 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4 cup of butter that we need in our new recipe.
1 stick of butter is equal to 1/2 cup. So I'm going to cut this stick of butter in half so that I have 2 1/4.
Okay, so in the original recipe, we needed 1 cup of white sugar, but in the new recipe, we only need half of that. So if we multiply it times 1/2, we know that anytime we multiply anything times 1, it's itself. So 1/2 times 1, we'll need 1/2 cups of sugar in the new recipe.
This is the 1/2 cup measuring cup. Since we need 1/2 cup of sugar, I'll measure it out and add it to our ingredients bowl.
Okay, in the original recipe, we needed 2 eggs, but in this recipe, we only need half of that. So if we get rid of half of those, in the new recipe, we just need 1.
Our recipe called for 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So if we need half of that, we know that 1 times 1/2 is still 1/2 teaspoon.
So the original recipe said we needed 1/3 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, but for our new recipe, we know we need 1/2 that amount. So using the models like we did before, I'm originally going to shade 1/3 of my model. And then I only want half of that amount. There's 2 squares. I'm just going to shade 1 of the 2. And I can see that my new fraction is 1 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I now need 1/6 cups of cocoa powder.
This is my 1/3 cup. We don't have a 1/6 of a cup, so I have to estimate 1/6, which would be half of 1/3. Our recipe called for 1/2 cup of flour. Ms. Stevens taught us how to use the squares to determine what 1/2 of 1/2 was. I'm going to show you a shortcut. All you have to do is multiply 1/2 times 1/2. And this gives you multiply the numerator by the numerator and you get 1, and the denominator times the denominator and you get 4. So our new recipe calls for 1/4 cup of flour.
Okay, the original recipe called for 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We need to multiply that times 1/2 for our new recipe. So using the models, I'm going to shade 1/4 of my model and then shade over 1/2 of that. And I can see that 1/8 of the figure is shaded, so I need 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt for the new recipe.
Go. Once again, our original recipe called for 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Using my trick, we'll multiply by 1/2 in order to find that our new recipe calls for 1, because we multiplied 1 times 1 to get our numerator, and 4 times 2 to get our denominator as 8. So in our new recipe, we need 1/8 teaspoons of baking powder. The directions say to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. It says to start the butter melting in our saucepan. Next, once it's melted, it says to remove from heat and stir in sugar, eggs, and our teaspoon of vanilla. Our recipe says to mix this with the rest of the ingredients. So I'm going to pour this all into our mixing bowl. And now I'll beat in the cup of cocoa, flour, and salt, and baking powder. After mixing all our ingredients together, we'll pour our brownie mix into our 9-inch pan so we can get it started cooking.
Go.
And now we put it in the oven.
To bake for how long?
Our brownies will bake for 25 to 30 minutes.
Okay, this shows you the original quantities of each ingredient you need to make the icing for our brownies. Your job is to find the amounts we need for the new recipe by multiplying each of those quantities by 1/2. You have 2 minutes to do so. Ready, go. Okay, so to make our batch of icing, we'll need 1 1/2 tablespoons of butter, 1 1/2 tablespoons of cocoa, a 1/2 tablespoon of honey, a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1/2 cup of confectioner's sugar.